What is going on, guys? It is your boy, Eric of EMFC.
And this is Derek of What the hell's our EDFC? That was it.
EDFC.
EDFC.
Because we
I
get
am
the M out.
completely shaven. It's a new day.
Oh, wow, it's
My
a new day,
face is
yes it is.
cold. Um, and this is gonna take some getting used to. Um,
But he's
I don't
here.
know why I did it, but I'm here. I'm here.
But he's
It's Wrestle
here.
Chat Wednesday. It is a Thursday.
It's a Thursday, though.
It is my fault that we broke the streak of going Wednesdays, although I think we did Thursday last week too.
I
Correct me
think
if I'm
so.
wrong. Actually, no, I think did we do Thursday last week? Either way,
Yeah,
we're here. It's
it
Wrestle
happens.
Chat Wednesday on a Thursday. I have not seen my face in years. Um, I don't know what the women see in me, but that's okay.
We
That
are
is okay
here.
because we are here
And
to
we got...
talk about wrestling and not about my commitment issues.
Oh,
Let's
my
go.
God. Let's go. All right, straight to the recap. uh, Good Lord. All right. So Friday Night SmackDown is where we started off. We're still on the road to WrestleMania. They're starting to solidify matches. There is a heavy rumor going into this SmackDown that unfortunately... Hear my voice echo. My bad. Sorry, it's coming from over here. Unfortunately, Drew might lose the championship. That was the biggest rumor. Cody Rhodes was going to be the new WWE champion. They're going to scratch everything and go straight to Randy versus Cody, which we wanted for a long time. They haven't built at it. They teased at it. Hasn't happened. So people are already doing Backlash, and we will talk about that afterwards because, as we always remember, Backlash is after WrestleMania. So the night starts with Randy Orton coming out, vowing to walk out of WrestleMania as WWE champion. That'll be his 50th championship. Tricky 2 times. Trick Williams comes out, confronts him. The crowd is cracked. Randy doesn't really get to let him speak a lot, so he gives him a firm RKO, kind of putting him in his place. But that'd be kind of cool if they inserted him somewhere in a match. Carmelo Hayes fights a surprise opponent when it comes to the United States Open Challenge. It was El Hijo de Wagner Jr., and he is from AAA. Apparently, he's a big star. I saw a little bit of his match. It wasn't really that special to me, anyways, but it was special for a lot of people. I think he is a champion of some sort from AAA. I don't know if you want to correct me there, Derek. But
Yeah, I think so.
so the other thing is, if you want to translate Spanish completely, El Hijo means the son, which means of. So the son of Dr. Wagner Jr. So wouldn't that make him
Oh,
Junior Junior? Because he is
yeah.
the son of Wagner Jr. So that means he would be the third. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know. Anyways, we continue here. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defeat Julia and Kiana James. I know they had a little conversation going on regards to who should be the one fighting for the tag team championships at WrestleMania. Everyone believes it's the Bellas, and most likely will be, but Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss mark their place. A little bit further on Julia, she's supposed to defend her championship, confirmed apparently, with a specific blonde superstar on SmackDown. We'll talk about that later. Behind the scenes, we got Bo Dallas talking about the mother freaking tease. I know Danhausen was talking a little bit backstage. He says he wants the Miz to be his, how do I describe it? Like
His mentor.
his mentor. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think that's hilarious. A lot of people finally have grown into Danhausen's comedy, and he came with his list of demands, which is hilarious. Tag teams were finally showcased. They had a tag team tournament match where Fraxium defeated Motor City Machine Guns. Rip. Los Garza defeat Fraxium. Rip. And Los Garza defeat the Wyatt Six. Super rip. And then Damian Priest and R-Truth. Oh, I heard about this. Defeat Los
Mm-hmm.
Garza to become more contenders to the mother freaking
Yeah.
tease.
Yeah. WWE has
What's going on,
this.
Racel?
Here's the thing. So, like, the crowd reacted accordingly, and so this is probably why. Shout out to Reno. Thank you for popping up in the chat real quick. But this is the thing where this is why a lot of the really really good tag teams tend to leave WWE because they feel like there isn't a verified or bona fide focus on the tag team division, and it's because of shit like this. Because there are a lot of really good tag teams in this gauntlet match, and mind you, a lot of them haven't been showcased in a very long time. Legado del Fantasma, or whatever the heck their name is now,
Los Garzas.
they have been, yeah, there we go. They have been more so working on the AAA scene, so they haven't really been on WWE television. The White Six has been involved. They were the former tag team champions, and they have their ongoing thing with the MFTs. Fraxium, really solid tag team, but like they haven't been involved in any major programs, honestly, in a while. Um, Street Profits is still nowhere to be found. And the Motor City Machine Guns, again, another tag team, really good veteran tag team that like hasn't really been doing anything crazy. And the winner of this match was two guys that were kind of thrown together. That from I guess
I
from
just took
a
that in.
booking like from a booking standpoint, like, okay, cool.
Oh my
R-Truth
god.
and Damian Priest are friends.
This is
I
Vince
guess I get
booking.
it. This is very much Vince booking. This is kind of like, all right, cool. Like, let's just throw these two guys together. Like, R-Truth is very popular with the fans. And this is, to me, kind of like we haven't given Damian Priest anything. So let's just give him this.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
Wepa
now
time.
we're kind of yeah, and I honestly fully expect them to win the tag team titles.
I think so
But
too.
like this kind of like it's just going to be like again like one of the reasons why I like tag teams are just kind of like what are we doing here? If like again like you're kind of just like throwing two guys together and call them a tag team, and they're the ones that are kind of taking the spot where you have these guys who should be grinding and should be resonating more with the crowd. And again, how are you supposed to build those guys as top stars when you have these two guys kind of coming together? But the crowd again reacted accordingly. Like with all the other tag teams, they were kind of like lukewarm. But when R-Truth and Damian Priest came out, the crowd got into it, right? So,
Yeah. And it's the thing, like, I
um,
mean, sometimes it's good to put random people into tag teams. It works out.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Like look at the Bar for example. The Bar were two guys who were thrown together, but like that tag team was solid. And the thing about it is that although they were thrown together, the Bar ended up being like a lasting tag team for like years
yeah.
and actually established themselves as a tag team. So it
The New
definitely
Day
isn't necessarily.
can be argued as
Oh
well.
yeah, dude. Yeah, right. Like it's not like saying that's not a recipe that doesn't work,
Mm.
but I feel like that's not a recipe that you really need right now. And I really feel like the main reason why they kind of did it is because they kind of realized like, well, we're not really doing
Doing
anything with
anything, yeah.
Damien.
As I say, it's the perfect time for R-Truth to be in there because they haven't really done anything with him. He has the perfect comedic background. The thing with the tag team right now, and I've noticed as well in the past, like if you have the Hardys or something like that,
Yeah.
Edge and Christian, like there was always segments. It wasn't only necessarily like you were a great tag team. You were put on the show because you were entertaining. Those
Yes.
Guerreros,
Yes.
Ray, and whoever he ends up with a tag team. Like they were entertaining because they had promos, they did things, they made you entertained. It's lukewarm for the other tag teams because the only things they've had is people like walk into um Johnny Gargano crying, laugh, and then leave. So there hasn't actually been like a build to their characters that we care about compared to something, let's
Yeah.
say the Judgment Day. People care about the
Yeah.
Judgment Day because they're always being promoted. They're always throughout the show. They're causing rivalries with
Yeah.
different teams. They have
Yeah.
stories. Tag teams right now in SmackDown is just bland because of that. And people resonate with these two because guess what? Our Truth and Miss Senior Wepa over here has been on TV weekly doing gags
Yeah.
background, but people are laughing
Yeah.
about it. People like it.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry, getting thirsty. So wrong place and wrong time for Damian Priest, I believe. He needs to elevate his game. If not, he's soon going to be in the chopping block. But for our
Yeah.
Truth, I believe this is the right place and the right time for him. Whose
Yeah.
bands is that? You're being called out
Yeah.
in the chat right now.
I am. I am. I already know that I'm gonna be like cooked at work tomorrow too. Because even when I trimmed my beard down, like everyone was looking at me like, ew. And it's like, guys, I have to remind you, this is my face. This is how I actually look like.
All right, on to the next one. Rhea Ripley. I don't know if you watched this, but I've heard
I did
about
watch
this. I
this.
missed this one. Apparently, this is very cringy. You want to
It was
explain it?
very. It was a very interesting segment. So, off of the heels of what we talked about last week in regards to the online stuff that was going on between Jay Cargill and Rhea Ripley, and whether or not it was a work or a shoot, um, the jury is still out on that one. But it was just a very weird segment, just in regards to like it felt. I wouldn't say uncomfortable because nothing was really said that was really uncomfortable. But like, if you're talking about the content of the promo, much like I respect you. Jay was like, I respect you, but like you can't beat me because my arms are bigger than yours, my legs are bigger than yours, I look better than yours, my physique is there. Every Ripley's response was like,
I
I don't
use.
stay down. And yeah, you're like basically there were just like these like weird like compliments, but basically their build was just like we're two tough people. We'll see who the toughest is, which I guess on its own is fine. Um, one comment that I saw, this was from O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's son, who's a huge wrestling fan. And he said the thing that I was thinking that I don't think a lot of people who aren't people of color would have taken in. But there was a handshake that
Oh
was
yeah,
exchanged at the very beginning of the segment, but Jade extended her left hand. And
yeah.
anybody who's a color person knows that like standing with the left hand is usually a sign of disrespect. You don't accept anything with your left hand. You don't do anything with your left hand. Like in my culture, like the left hand is the hand that you wipe your ass with, right? So like, so
And
it
that's why
was
Matt's
very much
left-handed.
like a yeah. So it was very much like one of those things where it's just kind of like, was that done on purpose to kind of have like a low key sign of disrespect,
Yeah.
or was it just was it just what it was? But I mean, to kind of go from like all the social media stuff that we kind of saw where these guys were really getting at each other, and then they come together and like the promo was just essentially like, yeah, we respect each other. We'll see who the best person is on top. But just kind of felt like it was a little bit flat.
Hmm.
But but yeah, that was essentially the promo. Like they just kind of were like, yeah, I'm big. Well, okay, cool. You may be big, but
I'm big.
I have heart. And like and that was essentially it.
Interesting. I did not see this. Oba Fenny defeats Johnny Gargano. So what happened here?
This was hilarious. This was so funny.
Okay.
So, like full context, Johnny Gargano has been doing this whole depressed gimmick ever since his tag team partner left the company and went
It's an
to
AEW.
AEW.
Yeah.
So Candice LeRae was with him backstage and basically was like trying to hype him up and said like, "Yo, like you need to get off of your feet. You gotta do something. Like you need to stop being depressed. This and that." And Johnny Gargano is just like, "You know what? You're right. I need to remember the guy that I am. I would go out to the ring right now." And he goes out to the ring and he basically says like, "You know what? Like I'm tired of being depressed. I need to get myself back up. I need to remind myself and remind you guys that I'm Johnny Wrestling and that I'm one of the best wrestlers around. And it's time to kind of get back." And people were like, "Yeah, yeah." And then he calls like an open challenge to anyone in the back so that he
Oh
can kind of
no.
prove to himself that he is one of the best wrestlers. And out comes Obafemi, and Obafemi just completely obliterates him and completely cooks him. And it was very funny because after he hit his finisher, and he pinned up, Johnny Gargano just like laid prone, like in the same depressed position, while Obafemi was like posing over him. It was so funny. It was
I'm
so
gonna have to watch
solid.
this match. Sebo Celebi was pretty funny too.
Yeah, it was good. Honestly, like Johnny Gargano is very good. Like he's kind of like a Chelsea Green in a sense where like because that like I and anyone who's watched NXT Black and Gold and just know how like Johnny Gargano's career, you and I watched him live. He's a phenomenal athlete. He definitely does have a lot of the tools to be like one of the like upper guys, but like if you give him like something like this, he is going to make it into something, and like he can play that role very well. So like the doing this whole like taking loss after loss and just being depressed role has just been great. It's been something that they've been able to feature on television from week to week, and so it's become a thing now where it's like you just kind of expect to see depressed Johnny and kind of see where that kind of leads into. And yeah, it's been pretty funny to see. Obviously, from a purist standpoint for me, like I would love to see him be more of the NXT Johnny, but like again, like it is all about like what you are able to work with and what works for the program and the crowd and what is going on right now. And he's been making this work, so it's been really, really fun to see.
Okay. I will be rewatching it. I will not be rewatching this part though. Last match, as we mentioned before, Cody Rhodes faces Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. And at the end, with all the shenanigans that happened, Cody Rhodes does end up being the WWE Champion. Crazy night because the crowd was cracked. They were very excited. But once again,
Yeah,
if you go on the internet and if you go on YouTube, the dislikes are up, the comments are high. Everyone wants justice for Drew. Everyone wants Drew versus Randy. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Or do you want to talk about that now?
yeah.
Maybe in your
Um,
sheets in your salt, I guess.
the salt, yeah, we can leave that for the salt because I do have opinions about it.
Hmm.
What I will mention about this match is that the match was, the match was good, but it was a bit of a train wreck at the same time because there was like a couple of times where, realistically, if we were gonna go on the full spectrum of kayfabe and how things should go, there was a spot that they were trying to do on the announce table,
Oh, it broke.
which and it broke. Yeah,
Yeah,
the announce table broke, so they
forgot
recreated the
about that.
spot with an actual table, which should have resulted in a
Ah,
disqualification, but it didn't happen.
I think I messaged in the chat. I was like, bro, are tables not DQ? Or maybe I was watching it live and I
They
said it wrong.
are, but like, hey, here's my thing, and this is why I'm kind of like, okay, like, why is an announce table spot considered to be not a DQ,
But like
but
a
a
regular
regular
table.
table spot is, right? So from that perspective, I'm kind of like, you know what, like this is sort of challenging like an inconsistency that has already just been wrestling lore in the first place. So it was kind of like whatever, I'll allow it. You could always kind of from a kayfabe perspective say, well, it's to the referee's discretion, and the referee decided that he was going to let things keep going. All right, cool. Let's continue. There was another point in the match where Drew deliberately knocked out one of the referees, which also probably should have resulted in a disqualification as well. But again, running off of kayfabe, like if a referee is not present in the ring, I guess they don't see it, even though they absolutely see it. So in any case, with all the shenanigans that happened, Jacob Fatu's like late appearance that kind of threw Drew McIntyre off of his game. Cody Rhodes was able to capitalize and capture his third WWE Championship. Um, and is now going to be going to the main event of WrestleMania to face off against his mentor, Randy Orton. And yes, once we get into the grain of salt, we could talk a little bit more about that and in regards to the online negative feedback and all that stuff. But yeah, SmackDown concludes with Cody Rhodes back on top. And the road to WrestleMania starts to become a little bit more clearer.
Of course. And as clear as day it might become, it also becomes more muckier because we go to Monday Night
Yes.
Raw and we see this shit. All right. So Seth Rollins, sorry, the general manager comes out. He calls out Seth Rollins. He's like, "You're suspended. We need to talk." Or suspended. Sorry, he's been injured. He's not cleared. You need to talk. Then it comes like 20 mans in like freaking masks. And it's Triple H's
Yeah.
like new favorite thing. He loves this. They're all running around in circles, and at the end, in the middle, here comes freaking Seth Rollins, takes off his mask. I don't even think he says a word. He says like, "You're injured. You're not supposed to be here. You're not cleared. And before anything happens, you should leave." Then comes in the Vision, which just at this time just is only Austin Theory and Logan Paul because Paul Heyman's supposedly injured. All the other members of the Vision are injured, and he puts on the mask, mixes up with the Mystery Men, and they all run away. So that really becomes nothing of it at the end of the day. Before we move on, chat, and then I was gonna ask you your
Uh,
opinion on this segment.
yeah, let's welcome Saturn and Tricky to the chat. But Saturn with his Boomhauer, his best Boomhauer impression in regards to talking about wrestling, which I appreciate. Um, this segment was weird.
Very.
I feel like it was one of those things that sounded cooler than it actually was. Um, I guess in a way I could appreciate the fact that they're kind of taking uh light and advantage of like the whole masked man thing that has become a meme of sorts. Um, but it was just so like it was kind of lame.
Yeah.
It was kind of lame. I don't know. I just but you know,
A for
whatever.
effort.
Like Seth Rollins, yeah, I guess like A for effort, I guess. But like it was just very funny. I think the funniest thing that I had noted was that one of the masked men was very
Yeah.
different in build in comparison to the other masked men, and it was just like, well, we definitely know it's not you, bud. But
Yeah.
um,
He was a big boy, and I seen this
yeah,
comment all over the place. Is like, who you trying to fool? Because like everyone's supposed to
yeah,
look very similar to Seth, but like
yeah. It was
honestly,
definitely Keith Lee.
honestly, like it's okay. I mean, the segment they tried something different. I was hoping they dropped this mask man thing now, like it's over.
Yeah.
You know who it is,
If
but
anything, I didn't mind the whole masked man leaving thing because it was like, okay, Seth Rollins gets away by like, you know, disappearing within like the crowd of masked men kind of thing. I felt like the way of him coming in was kind of weird and kind of like cringe in a sense, like doing like that same thing and then him just like being the single one like standing there. It's like, okay, we know it's you, bud. Like at this point, I would have just preferred you just like come out from the crowd or whatever the case may be. But in any case, whatever. That kind of like sort of like leads on to um the I guess the rest of the night and whatnot. But yeah, Seth Rollins likes masked men.
yeah. So it was an interesting segment. At the end of the day, I don't even know if that continued anything, but moving forward, there was a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. And I thought this was supposed to be for WrestleMania, but supposedly it's supposed to be for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Io Sky takes on Lyra Valkyria. This match was really, really good between two like incredible wrestling athletes. At the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, and I don't know, I feel kind of like it's unfortunate, but people were super behind Io Sky and booing Lyra. But Io Sky does defeat Lyra Valkyria, so rip to the future, I guess. I don't know how old Io is, but I'm pretty sure she's getting up there. Io then takes on Raquel Rodriguez, which okay, so first there was like a segment, as you guys can see here, Stephanie Booker was talking about Liv or whatever, right? Promoting their match. Then in this match, Liv comes out to distract and help Raquel, which Raquel was very upset about. And which takes out Stephanie Booker. Stephanie Booker fight, and then they all fight, and Io takes advantage and she wins the match. So at the end of the match, Raquel freaks out, gets angry, just starts attacking Io, hitting her finishers everywhere, hitting her finisher on the ring apron, which damaged her. Which got Ivy Nile out there to quickly pin Io Sky, which is good for her, I guess. The Intercontinental title is meant for mid card people, so this will highlight her a little bit more. But she does get squashed by Bailey, which was the right call. At the end of the day, it was Bailey versus Asuka, and after people try to interfere, Bailey ends up the winner, which is like AJ Lee's probably dream match, a lot of people's dream match with them. So I guess good for them, even though we know AJ Lee is gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Other backstage segments, Kofi Kingston tried to recruit Javon Evans into the New Day, which is something I
Mm-hmm.
actually didn't see coming. But you know what? We'll see how
I
that
like it.
goes. Maybe it'll be a little new rivalry there.
I like it.
Um,
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a feud coming out of there, and I like it. Honestly, I think it's a different rivalry because like they've been focusing more on like I guess like the New Day just sort of being around. So I like the fact that like I honestly just like the fact that I just saw just Kofi just like talking to him,
mhm,
and you know not doing the over the top like New Day heel heat stuff. It just gotta be like
just be
yo like
himself. Yeah.
you know just kind of be himself, but also kind of be you know convincing him to sort of look at things from a different perspective. Ignore the fact that it's like, hey, I'm a black guy trying to recruit another black guy because you know whatever we know anything and it's all the stuff there. But like, but yeah, I liked it. It kind of intrigued me that they kind of went in that direction.
For some reason, Natty is still trying to promote her rivalry. No one cares about it. Maxine Dupree attacks her again. Useless. The original
I
Grande
want to care
Americano.
about it.
Do you?
I do want to care because I like the Natty like I like the Natty Neidhart character. I just don't know if it's just being presented well in the WWE sense because I feel like when she was doing that stuff with in NWA and AAA, like it got off like pretty well. But I also think that like she was also working with a lot of different like
People.
intense people, and it's like right now it's like Natty's still kind of being booked the same way, just with a different character. So it's like you're still doing the same thing. I'm trying to elevate these stars, and I guess having like a newer spin to kind of see if that will kind of help to elevate them more, as opposed to just doing like the typical Natalia stuff.
Mm.
But like you're still kind of doing the same thing, just with like a different hat, and I think that's what's kind of like leaving people with like a eh, right? Like I want to see Natty Neidhart work with other people. Like I wanted her to do bigger feuds and like be a serious badass to like more like pronounce names within the division. But I understand the need for her in her position to be able to put people like Maxine Dupree in a higher echelon, even though she is a former Intercontinental Champion, but since losing that title. And like that's the thing. I feel like Becky Lynch did more for Maxine in that time than Natty is doing for her right now. Um. But that's an ongoing thing that they're kind of working with right now. So
Sorry. And then backstage, Danhausen met up with El Grande Americano original, and he pretty much told him to piss off. So he cursed him. And in the background, you can see those Americanos looking over, pretty much showing that something's gonna happen. Next match after that was the Men's Intercontinental Championship title match. Penta was again supposed to fight the original Grande Americano, but instead it turned out to be the fake one, so the Ludwig Kaiser one. The curses, they just attacked him backstage. Regardless, doesn't matter. Penta hit an absolute banger of a Mexican destroyer off the ropes. He's just like improving on his own moves, which is insane because you think you could see it all, but then Penta pulls something like that. So really, really good match. It was entertaining. It was fun. Okay. This one gets really big. So backstage, Dominic Mysterio extremely, 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 extremely upset. He thinks that he lost the title because Finn Balor cost him the title. So they said they're gonna air out everything to the people. So all the Judgment Day members go out. Finn goes out. Dominic Mysterio pretty much berates Finn Balor, saying like, "This is all your fault." And Finn Balor actually surprisingly agrees. He was like, "It's all my fault. I'm sorry. Like, I thought I could try to help, as we always do in Judgment Day's family. You always try to help, and he messed up." And that's when Dom said that he hopes that he got him another Intercontinental Championship match, which Finn said no. He said, as much as you need to help, you need to be your own man. And honestly, I've been trying to help you for years. You're not your own man. Actually, I think your old man, Rey Mysterio, was right. And you're nothing but a, what did he say?
spoiled prick.
Spoiled prick. There it was. And that's when Dom, as you guys can see, slapped Finn in the face. And then Finn does the classic. He turns around, just touches his jacket, bang, reverse bicycle kick right to the face. And surprisingly, all of Judgment Day actually turned on Finn. I thought at least one of them would side, but no. They all turned on him and they
Yeah.
all destroyed him, which is a sign to come. What do you think?
Yeah. This was the segment that had me feeling like WrestleMania was and it's very interesting. This one has now got me in the WrestleMania fever.
Yeah.
I loved this segment. I loved, first of all, that the one who really actually initiated the attack on Finn was his best friend.
Yeah.
It was JD. It wasn't like obviously, because like when Dom and they were kind of going back and forth, the Judgment Day were kind of like trying to separate them and sort of like be like, yo, like chill, 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 chill. But then when Finn like was like about to go for the drop kick, that was when JD came in with the clothesline and said like, nah, like cut him, like that's it, kind of thing, right? So although like we have talked about how we have been waiting for this for a while, and there was like the amount of teases and like we weren't really sure how the turn was going to go. um I still felt very good that they were able to pull the trigger, and I felt like they actually booked that segment very, very well. More so because again, the fact that JD was the one that was the to turn like to turn on him. But I feel that this was something that they maybe wanted to go for sooner. But Dom was so over with the crowd that I feel like there was this feeling of like, if we do this now, like we're not gonna get the support for Finn that we need to kind of make this program work the way that we need it to work. And I like in that sense, like them waiting it out until it got to a point where, Finn is getting a little bit more of a babyface reaction. He's got his old theme song back. He's being a little bit more of like the old Finn that people do like. And Dom has been very good at being able to generate heat, like legitimate
Latino heat.
heel heat, not go away heat, and not like, oh, like you deserve it, like, babyface reactions because they see how far he's come, but legitimate like heel heat. Very much maybe like similar to when he turned on Ray. And so I think everything kind of came together and it was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like now we're in business and now we're actually seeing like a fresh thing with the Judgment Day and what they can do with it. And like, unlike with Damian Priest, where it's like, okay, you do this Judgment Day feud, and where do you go? I honestly feel like now Finn is in a better position now that he's out. He's done his job as being the veteran in that group and elevated these guys, because now Dom turning on him doesn't feel like it's like a reach or a grab to be like, all right, cool, well, we need to elevate Dom. Like, Dom is already there, right? Like, Liv is already there. JD maybe needs to get there a little bit, but JD is probably now the one that can benefit from being with these guys who I feel are established at this point. Even Raquel Rodriguez over the last few months has established herself as
They're more
being
legit.
more legit. So like, I think now that they made the turn, like it feels right. Like I think that the group is now in a spot where they can handle their own. I feel like even people were asking questions online about like, oh, are they going to add somebody else? And I'm like, honestly, they don't need to. I think they're good with the people that they have in that group.
Oh, do
And I
you?
think like that group, I think so. I think so. I think that with Dom, if Dom is the one that's heading things, I think he's in a good position now where it could work. I think I have enough faith in him and his character now and what they've done with that group that I think that they could actually take that a little bit further. And Dom could be put in a position where he can slowly start to kind of take himself from that mid card position and start to elevate himself into a position where he could be world championship worthy in like, if done right, within like the next year or so.
Okay.
But I really like this segment, and this segment for me, like I saw this and I was like, once I was starting to see like everything fall into place, I was like, you know what? I am now excited for WrestleMania. Like I wasn't really super excited. I was excited for Punk and Roman,
Yeah,
obviously,
because that
but
felt like
everything
a
else from
WrestleMania match. Yeah.
yeah, but everything else kind of felt like it's like, all right, cool, we're kind of putting this together. But somehow seeing this become a thing, it's like, oh, okay, now we're cooking. We're finally like, this is the
Like it's
feeling that
another
I want to feel.
rivalry at
Yeah,
least that's
yeah.
there. And honestly,
That like to
it's
me is WrestleMania worthy. Like this
mm,
is a WrestleMania worthy rivalry for me. Like not like the match at WrestleMania, but one of the matches that like aside of like the main events that I would love to see.
and that's what
And I
WrestleMania
feel
is
like it
about. Yeah.
belongs. Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like what we
yeah.
said, like
So
we've been waiting this for like forever. So finally, when it actually happened, I expected it to be like, I'm tired of this. But people have been behind this for a long time. People have been behind Face Finn ever since he started chasing for the world championship. But like legit, when CM Punk like checked him, and if you see the comments online, like people are going amp right now. They're losing their minds. They say we're gonna get Demon Finn, we're gonna get the old
yep.
Finn back. And honestly, this is and we keep saying this. If it wasn't for CM Punk and Roman Reigns being the world champion right now, this would have been the perfect opportunity to put the title on Finn. Finally, this would have been
Yeah.
like what we were talking about Sammy too when he had his chances at that time. Like it was perfect
Yeah.
for him to win the championship if he had the underdog story going on. But then John Cena and Cody Rhodes were there, and like they're obviously clearly should be the world champions. Like, it's just stuff like that, right? So,
Yeah.
but we'll see how that goes moving forward throughout the year. But yeah, dude, this is it. This actually feels like a legit WrestleMania match, and that's what you
Hmm.
need sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a championship match because people were also saying, why is the Intercontinental title not on the line? Like, well, now you can have a match for the Intercontinental title in the freaking 8-man ladder match with Penta in there doing flips or whatever. And
Hmm.
this is its own separate match to entertain
Yeah.
people because the
Yeah.
story already sells it on its own.
Exactly.
By the way,
Exactly.
I
Like you.
think, sorry, yeah, continue.
No, 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 no. Go,
Yeah.
go with your point. Go with your
Oh, I was
point.
gonna say quickly that Dom I think needs to defend the AAA title to El Hijo del Vikingo. Everyone's their son or something like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
if he wins, El Hijo de Vikingo can never challenge a championship again, I think. And vice
Okay.
versa, if Dom loses the title, he's out of AAA forever.
Oh,
Which means Finn is most likely going to cost the championship, but we'll see because that'd be also a huge blow to AAA.
yeah. Well, yeah. But, AAA will maybe be fine. I don't really know how they've been doing. I haven't been watching
I think
as
it's
much,
Saturday.
but this is this is again like how I feel with their feud. Like again, I think people have gotten so accustomed to feeling because we've gotten it so many times before where we had these like perfect feuds that like honestly don't require a championship, and then a championship gets thrown in there and be like, oh well, this is how we can make it even bigger. And it's just like you didn't need to do this. It's like Rock versus Cena. It's like I got Rock versus Cena and I loved it. But it's like, oh well, now we're gonna like take the title off of CM Punk when he's had a historic reign, just so that we can make this for the WWE Championship. And it's like, well, now that makes this whole thing a little bit more predictable because we know now that the results is going to go one way. Now that there isn't a championship that's around here, we like result wise, it doesn't really matter. Like we don't need to have like that championship, curse on the match to kind of sway people's opinions about how this is going to go. We could just have a genuine match. And honestly, the story of the Judgment Day is enough to be able to carry this feud. We don't need to have a title that's centered around it, right?
Mm, the story in
So
itself.
and the story makes itself, and like that's kind of like what you need. So I'm loving this, and again, it's getting me into that mood to be like, all right, cool. Like now I want to see like how this whole thing comes together.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, moving on to the next match. It's another thing that a lot of people have been looking forward to. I was looking forward to this match. Obafemi faces off against Rusev. I feel like it's finally a larger than life opponent. Two big boys in the ring. And it was good because Rusev actually was defending himself. He was getting some moves in there. They fought outside. So it showed that Obafemi is not this fully invincible character, which sometimes you need. Sometimes you need these bigger characters, someone like a Braun Strowman, if he was still around, to make this character. Kind of like how Braun Strowman helped elevate Bronson Reed even further, even though we were kind of tired of Bronson Reed at that moment or didn't see what he had in him. But when they started doing that rivalry with the backstage brawls and them attacking each other every week, like the kind of elevated his character. So I think Rusev helped elevate Obafemi a little bit. What I wasn't okay with is that Rusev was calling out a lot of like calls and very obvious. He was like screaming like punch me or grab me, and then Obafemi finished the match very quickly. Which again, I think Oba should have showcased more of his moves because we still don't know everything he has in his arsenal. But again, all in all, it did what it had to do at the end. We'll talk about the rumor afterwards in the sheets because there's a big rumor with Obafemi now. Last thing
Yeah.
at the end, when the Usos were, I guess they confronted, I forgot the vision at the beginning of the night.
Mhm.
Backstage, they were talking both Usos, and she was like, "Are you guys gonna do anything about like defending your family because CM Punk like kind of talked bad about one of your uncles?" And Jay's like, "I don't care about that, man." And then Jimmy's like, "No, we do, and we'll talk about it." CM Punk comes out. He says that he thought people would hate him after what he said last week. The people were still cheering for him, so he's like, "Clearly, you guys still love me." Um, and that's when the Usos come out, and all of a sudden Jay was just heated, and he was just steaming back and forth, stumbling on his lines. Thank God Jimmy is there. Jimmy calms it down. He cuts a very good promo, and at the end of the day, he's like, "I respect you. You're my friend, but at the end of the day, like you need to apologize because that was like a mean thing to say." And then CM Punk kept trolling and he kept saying he was not sorry. He was apologizing, saying, like, "I'm sorry that you're still a slave to Roman Reigns." And that's when they slapped the hell out of CM Punk. But before Jay could fully snap, Jimmy held them back. That ends the night, which me and supposedly Roman's supposed to come next week. And CM Punk called it out. And a lot of people called it out too. He said
Mhm.
that your dad is dead and I'm going to bury you beside your dad. And he decides to take the night off. You know? Thank God the Usos were there to kind of like save him, but it's an interesting time in their story.
Mhm.
What do you think?
I thought that segment was very powerful.
Mhm.
I thought it was really really good. Like I very much enjoyed it. I enjoyed every aspect of it. I love that Punk is sort of like he's egging them on. with a lot of the stuff that he's saying. But even like both Usos did incredible as far as I'm concerned. Like Jay was visibly upset, and I think that's all you really needed for him to be. You just needed him to be like very emotional, just very much just like
Right
ready to
hand
snap,
guy.
and like very much like classic Jay from like the Bloodline, where like it was just like just say something, like I dare you to say something, and then like it's like all bets are off kind of thing. And Jimmy has always been the talker, but Jimmy, his promo was perfect. Pretty much outlining like, yo, like I appreciate the fact that you're your own man, that you do things to your accord, but like at the end of the day, like this isn't about Roman. This isn't about us like defending Roman. Like you disrespected our family, right? Like that's all this is. So like you don't have to apologize to Roman. Like what you and Roman have is up to y'all, but like that's our uncle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like you need to apologize for disrespecting our family. And Punk refused to do it, and they were said like, all right, bet.
At the same time, CM
And
Punk also did a good line, and I always think this in my head, where he said that, well, last year you guys were talking shit about Dusty Rhodes when you were trying to bury Cody,
yeah,
and that was completely okay with them. But when they mentioned their family, like all of a sudden, all bets are off. So I'm
yeah,
kind of good that they still have receipts and like we're not
yeah.
dumb. We can see previous storylines happened or whatever, and they called to that, which is good about CM Punk. I feel like no one would have mentioned that. No script writer would have mentioned that backstage. I'm glad that CM Punk
hmm
kind of shoots from the hip sometimes, but yeah,
yeah,
we'll see what
yeah.
happens
Which
next week, I guess.
yeah, I think it was a fair point. At the same time, I think that the Usos were valid
Oh yeah, they
in
were.
how they felt, because
The
it's
guy
like,
told
yo,
he's like,
like,
"I'll
all right,
kill you, bro."
yeah,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, like, yeah, like Dusty Rhodes was disrespected by Roman, and I get that, right? Dusty Rhodes wasn't your dad, right? And
Mhm.
Roman got his, right? He lost the title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, this is their family at the end of the day. Like, I can care less what homeboy says to anybody else, but if you're gonna say talk shit about my family, you're getting knocked out. Like, it's not about like, oh, like no one expected Roman to apologize. Like that's a issue between Roman and whoever like decided to check him for it, right? You disrespected my family. You're talking about me. Like, apologize to me. You can't do that. All right, cool. Get these hands.
Mhm. And now, before we move on to the next segment, apparently there's already a preview for SmackDown, which is right here. So that is going to be tomorrow, Friday the 13th, mind you. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton are doing the classic contract signing for the WrestleMania match title. I don't know if they're going to move forward with a 1v1. Drew might interfere. We shall see, but they're going to do a contract signing tomorrow. Jelly Roll, three-time Grammy Award winner, gonna return to SmackDown. Has a higher overall than a lot of wrestlers in the game, as Seba has told me. Um,
Yes.
don't know what that's gonna be about, but good lord, here we'll see what's gonna happen. Michin battles Jade Cargill. I know they've had this little rivalry ever since Jade decided to injure these guys at live events near Christmas. So we'll see how that goes. That's it. That's all the preview, actually. All right.
Yeah, I guess we'll get more as we get closer to SmackDown.
Yeah.
But those are two confirmed events happening for next week. Oh, also they also I don't know if they actually announced it, but there was a point where during Raw there was a graphic that was put up that was quickly put down.
Mm-hmm.
But there was apparently supposed to be a contract signing between Cody and Randy Orton tomorrow as well.
Oh, that's what I said at the beginning. Sorry.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oops, my
I was
bad.
like, I was like, I don't know who's gonna interfere in that. I said maybe Drew will add himself in the triple threat. Maybe he'll enact his rematch clause. We shall see. But so far, they're gonna do a classic signing of the contract. Should we go into the sheets?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get lost in the sheets.
Alrighty, we're in Derek's clean, dirty sheets.
Yes, welcome to the dirt sheets that aren't dirty. They're actually very clean. We do our laundry over this household. Um, let's go. What do we got to talk about aside from the really major sheets that seem to be coming about? Um, all right. Well, I actually let's just talk about the main one. There is growing belief that we now have a plan for Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And the growing belief is that we are going to get Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi
Yeah.
at Mania.
Yeah.
It seems as though, based off of the backstage reports, that is where we're going,
Which is what we wanted.
and which is what we wanted. Except I don't know if I want it as much now.
Because the other
um, the,
sheet was that
the
apparently Brock Lesnar's not going to lose a single match until it's his retirement match. And
that is the supposed pitch that was pitched out by Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and I can understand why. Um, the belief is that Lesnar is more than likely going to retire from in-ring competition at this year's SummerSlam, since it's going to be held in Minneapolis, which is his home state. And so if that is the case, then we only have like a limited number of appearances left for Lesnar until he hangs it up for good. So if you're going to, I guess, go with a retirement of sorts, it would make sense for him to sort of go strong into that match and then potentially put over whoever he ends up facing at that event if we go that route. The thing is that if that is the case, and us knowing that now, it kind of limits who we could see him face off against at Mania, because there are a lot of guys who would benefit from facing him, but guys who would benefit from beating him. And I don't know if the plan is for Oba and Brock Lesnar to face and Lesnar defeating him. I don't think that does Oba Femi any favors, and it's not necessarily something that Brock needs. And so if the plan is for Oba to put Brock over, honestly, I'd rather Brock face somebody else. But at the same time, too, like if we have this limited window and we have two relatively big matches, maybe three relatively big matches that we would like to see Brock have before he retires, that would be between him and Oba, him and Braun, and him and Gunther.
yeah,
You know, you gotta get these matches out of the way,
which
not
is
really
crazy.
look into what the results or the finish or who goes over is, and maybe just appreciate it for what it is. You know, at the end of the day, this is a match that I wanted to see. So I guess we will see in due time whether or not it is a match that we go with, and whether or not you know, Lesnar goes over. But it seems as though the sheets is saying that Lesnar and Obafemi seems to be becoming closer and closer to becoming a thing. Speaking of other WrestleMania implications, as we slightly alluded to earlier, it seems as though Tiffany Stratton also
Yeah.
seems to have her WrestleMania plans more or less locked in, and it
Was
seems
right.
as though she'll be facing Julia for the United States Championship, which honestly, I'm cool with.
Yeah.
I'm
'Cause
cool with it. I'm very cool with it.
like who else were they gonna put? Like again, we need bigger matches for WrestleMania. This is gonna
Yeah.
be a matchup that I never see coming. SmackDown needs a
No.
lot more women in the roster, and since someone
Yeah.
like Chelsea Green's injured, Julia versus Tiffany Stratton, something I've never really seen, nothing I've ever really thought about. Both perfect
Yeah.
in-ring wrestlers. Tiffany Stratton is popular enough to carry the whole promo package for thing.
Yeah.
Kiana James could be in the background. It's fine. We will be there. Yeah. Honestly, it's a good opportunity. I think I don't know. Maybe Tiffy. Obviously, having Tiffany kind of like Becky Lynch as Intercontinental Women's Champion elevates the championship. I don't want her to hold it for that much because she is a main star. She shouldn't be like stuck in the mid card a little bit because then it'll take away
Mhm.
from everyone else, which is what the mid card title is for. Um. So yeah, it's either Tiffy's gonna really make this championship grow, or Julia's
Mhm.
finally gonna be promoted very highly if she beats Tiffany. That's all I gotta say. Regardless, the United States Championship would look like in a good spot for the women there. We
Yeah.
got
I think it's good because it's like finally, like I think this is a feud that will definitely help Julia a lot, because I feel like she hasn't worked with anyone major since winning the title. Like I think the main thing has just been between like her and Chelsea. Tiffany Stratton was in a world title match last year, and Tiffany Stratton has become one of the top faces of SmackDown. So this is definitely someone that Julia can work with that will elevate her and put her in a better position for better matches in the future. So very much loving that potential matchup that could be becoming a thing. Um, there's apparent internal frustration within WWE in regards to the WrestleMania 42 promotion. Because it just seems as though like no one really knows what the plan is. A lot of things haven't been clear. A lot of things haven't been set in stone, which is not necessarily, I guess, like a normal thing for them. Going into WrestleManias, like usually things are usually locked in. And some things are subject to change, but for the most part,
Always
there are a
subject to
lot of
change.
things are usually locked in place. And I think the fact that like we're still in a weird spot for a lot of things. From what I read, as I hydrate.
Appreciate the hydrate.
Um, from what it seems as though they're kind of just sort of like taking things like week by week and seeing how things kind of build organically. And if things feel like they need to take a change, that they might pivot and go towards that change, which I don't think is necessarily a bad strategy to have. But at the same time, when you're trying to book like the biggest show of the year, you kind of want something more concrete so it gives people something to look forward to.
Oh, we may have lost him.
That being said, like I'm getting a little bit more hyped about it now. Um,
Also, hi DJ.
did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze for a little bit, but like it like sped up and explained everything, so you're good.
Okay, cool. Cool. Other news. Apparently, Cody, the politician Rhodes, lobbied for
Not the politician.
had lobbied for this match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania. It felt like it was the perfect big time match for a WrestleMania main event. Which I'm sure does not do him any favors in regards to the internet wrestling community. But again, we can lean more into that once we get into my sheets.
This is WrestleMania. They need to make this rivalry more intense. We need freaking Randy Orton going to Cody Rhodes' house and punt kicking Mama's Rhodes. You know, that's the kind of stuff we need right now. That's all I gotta say. You know, a lot more backstage segments or rivalry or things away from the wrestling ring, video packages. Personally, in my perspective, but we shall see. I guess I guess they're going for big names, but I feel like even the big names should put some effort in there. Continue. You paused for a little bit.
I paused. Am I still paused? I think I'm still paused.
No, you're good.
Am I? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Let's see what else we got here in the sheets. So I guess a little slight other thing that I wanted to talk about too, in regards to the sheets, was the David Finlay signing with AEW.
Oh yeah.
So there was a little bit of confusion from our side as to because I think they'll plan
Oh, it's freezing again.
for Finlay if he had come to is being put together. A stable that was going to be put together between himself, Lexus King, who else is in there? Stacks, Ariana Grace, and I forgot what his name is in the group, something or other. And I didn't really understand why. One, just because like like it's NXT and whatever faction. But then I learned after watching NXT this past Tuesday that the other guy in the stable is actually David Finlay's brother.
Oh.
And what happened this past Tuesday was that Charlie Dempsey also joined the stable. He turned on his longtime.
Oh, lost him again.
Finlay and William Regal. Damn, I'm just freezing like crazy right now.
Hear you a little bit. All I know is that Fit Finley had 2 kids, apparently, which is super insane. Because I don't even know he had 1 kid, let alone he has 2, both into wrestling.
Hold on.
And then he mentioned something about William Regal, so I think maybe Finley had a kid with William Regal. No, continue.
All right, am I back? Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you hear? I didn't hear all that.
Finley has 2 kids supposedly, and it's crazy because I didn't even know he had
Yes.
1. He has two,
Yes.
both in wrestling, one in AEW, one in WWE. Then you mentioned you
Yes.
froze. Then you mentioned William Regal and Fit Finley. And I was like, they had a kid, and it's this guy in NXT.
So yeah, Charlie Dempsey, he is the kid of William Regal. And so he turned on his partner to join this stable. So now the stable is basically a stable of like second/third generation stars. So we have Regal's kid, Finley's kid, Santino's kid, and Stax, who is banging Santino's kid, which is why he's in the group.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
so so yeah, so Finley was supposed to be added to this as well, but the stable's actually starting to come together and look kind of dope. So we'll see where that goes. But that was the whole thing with Finley and why he was going to be involved in that thing, but he chose AEW, and
Okay.
all the power to him for that. Um, Sol Ruka is mixed. I had no idea.
I just read that actually an hour ago where they were saying like, did she celebrate Black History Month, and what are the thoughts of like the opinions on her, because she is mixed. Even her father is also mixed. So she's just saying like sometimes are like, prove it, and she shows a photo. It's like, he's mixed, so like, you're not black, and she's like, you know what? She's like, people come from like every lineage. She knows who she is. She says she's never claimed herself out to be kind of like a black woman, but at the same time, like, she has a history. She has something there. People always kind of want to criticize and say like, you're this or you're that. You're not this. You're not. I think she mentioned like, from the group, like, you're not from this group or you're not from this group, so you're like in the middle kind of thing. At the end of the day, she's like, everyone should just be like respectful to each other. Everyone has their own lineage, and leave things be, like, stop being hateful. And honestly, it's true. Being a Colombian Canadian, sometimes you're just stuck in the middle. Sometimes you're just Hispanic, or sometimes when you go to a Hispanic country, you're not Hispanic enough. So that kind of makes sense. Even though both my parents are Colombian. So yeah, I can understand her in a way. And honestly, like, everyone has their history, their not inheritance, their heritage. Um, so honestly, good for her that she actually spoke out on, you know, her background, and
Yeah,
being respectful.
yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I have anything else. Do you have anything else in the sheets?
Not that I know of. I think we kind of mentioned everything that was the most important part of it. Trying to think. There's another thing on Instagram, but I didn't share it to you guys. So, that's probably it for now.
All right.
Onto the salt.
Yes, onto the salt.
Keep saying it. I take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt. That's your turn again.
It's my turn. Okay.
That's your
Cool.
segment.
Excellent. Excellent. Welcome to. I'm just covering all the segments at this point. So let's go to my grain of salt. So I think the main grain of salt that we could talk about is the, I guess, feeling behind the WWE Championship main event. Is this the right call? Should Drew be in this match? Should it just be Cody versus Randy? Um, how do we feel?
Oh
And
God, it's a hard one.
it's a hard one because I believe that Cody fatigue is a real thing.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty evident from what we've seen online that people are tired. At the same time, though, this is a match that I literally have been waiting for since Cody got back. And I truly believe that there is a lot more behind the story between Cody and Randy than there can be with any other variant that people think that they want to see because they now feel that like other people should be involved in the championship match scenario. I can understand that, obviously having Drew McIntyre win the championship was a curveball and it got people really excited. And I was one of those people that was really excited and hoping to see different matches. And for it to kind of last 50 days and the title to go back onto Cody felt like we were getting something taken away. but at the same time, what that championship run did was create more eyes towards the product, and it allowed them to do different things as opposed to having Cody doing the same stuff with the title. Um, I do believe that from a booking perspective, they're very much handcuffed because the last two, like the last championship reign Cody had, he only really worked with Drew his title championship reign. It was 7 months of the same shit,
Yeah.
and that's not Cody's fault. So like when we look at the Cody fatigue, I don't think you can look at it and say like, well, it's because Cody's boring. And I think it's more so the fact that like WWE just doesn't really know how to book anyone else in that position so that we could get to this part of the story a little bit more organically, as opposed to it just feeling like we're sort of just like doing a filler arc with his championship reign until we get to like the stuff that we really want to get to, which is what it really felt like. Um, all in all, like I think that this is the better call. I just wish that they did more to kind of make Cody's reign more entertaining. Leading up to this point, and now that we're here, like you said, I just want them to just kind of go full speed with this feud and make it into a feud that's worth a WrestleMania feud versus it just be like, okay, well, now we got Cody versus Randy. Let's just sort of like kind of go week to week of do the same stuff where Cody comes out and says enough, and Randy says, I'm going to hit you with the three most devastating words of sports
KO.
entertainment and just walk away. Like,
Kinda
I
scared
want
that's
there to
gonna happen.
be, yeah, and we'll see how they build this feud. Like, I definitely want them to lean more into the history. Like, there is 25 years or 15 years of history between Cody and Randy, so there's definitely a lot of stuff that they can do, and I want them to really lead into that. And so we'll see. But I honestly do believe that this was the better call. I understand the frustration, like, oh, Drew's not here and he should be here and stuff like that. At the end of the day, Drew got a championship run in 2026, which is outside of what anybody expected.
Mhm.
And I think we should be happy that we got that versus the alternative of, Drew just doing, whatever for however long. Um, so I think that that's, I don't know. I
Win
think
in
it's a fair
itself.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a win. Yeah, I think yeah. You know what? Like, I appreciate the Drew title run. Obviously, I would have preferred that it went for longer, but I also understand what the end game is here with Cody and Randy, and I think that is a better end game um, to have.
Okay. I'm kind of in the same boat. I've seen a lot of people actually say like, well, Drew was like main eventing WrestleManias years before. Cody Rhodes has main event 4 times, and it also brought me something back to the sheets where Booker T talked back to people talking about why is Rhea Ripley in the main event. I think also for the 4th time in a row, and they said because she's that person. She's the top
Yeah,
star. The same thing with Cody Rhodes. They're the top star. They're the one who sells the most. They're the ones that people are intrigued or interested behind. They are the biggest characters. They're the biggest wrestlers, right? Until someone comes and rips that position away from them, you're gonna get them in the main event. It's kind of the same thing with
yep,
John Cena. You may have not liked it, but when John Cena left, everyone was like, "Oh, we miss Cena. Why? Because he was that main event guy." You know.
yep. And
Same
this
thing.
is the this is like kind of like the same thing that I feel with Cody. It's like people are like, I guess, frustrated with the position that he's in, but like you like, again, if you hate this, you would have hated Cena back in his prime.
Yeah.
And the same people who are complaining now were celebrating John and saying that he's the greatest of all time. Like, you like Cena was booked in the main event literally all the time, and it was to the point where we were sick of it and we wanted to see something different. But until someone comes and is able to step up to the point where they're selling the tickets, they're getting people out in the door, they're the ones that are closing the show, and people are loving them closing the show, then this is what you're gonna get. Like, the numbers don't lie, right? You can go online and talk all you want about how you're tired of this, but like the reality is that like the analytics are there. Apparently, I haven't seen the analytics because I can't be bothered looking into it. But based off of what I have seen from the WWE produced podcasts, the money been going up since Cody has been there. So
That's all that
something,
matters, bro. It's buckets.
you know,
You don't want to see Drew
is it
main event in
because of
Big
Cody?
2026. You saw
Yeah,
the match with Sami Zayn. It was boring as hell in Royal Rumble. You guys don't
yeah,
want a freaking Randy versus Drew match in 2026. I'm sorry. Cody versus
yeah,
Randy was the great match that we're expecting. And on top of that,
yeah,
if not, make it into a triple threat, make it into a fatal four-way, make it add Jacob Fatu to it. Like these things can be done, but like a 1v1 versus Randy and Drew, I can watch it on SmackDown, bro. I could probably find
yeah.
it on YouTube right now on a random SmackDown. It was boring as shit. So
You can. They've done it before multiple times. They've actually traded titles multiple times. So it is a thing that we have seen before. It's not to say that it's not something that we can't see. We can't see in the future, but like we haven't gotten Cody versus Randy truly with a proper feud on the line. We got it
yeah,
for King of the Ring, which was like evidently at the end of the match was like kind of alluding to a future point where they were going to run it back. But I think now is the time where you run it, you get it, and then you can kind of worry about like, okay, now what does this division look from here? What can we do? Where do we pivot? Who can we work with? Right. So
mhm. I had something else to say, but I think that was it. It was about sales. Oh, I remember Sheet stuff. Apparently, John Cena's he looks like worrisome getting out of a car. He looks like his back is destroyed. He just looks like a little hermit. So people are kind of worried about him. Now his body's taking a toll. The other thing, the top selling T-shirt right now is Danhausen's T-shirt. So if you guys hated on him, that's over too. And yeah, I think that was all my opinions that I have. I said moving forward, most likely we shall see this week what they do with Randy and Cody. As I mentioned to you, I'm hoping they end up doing something instead of like, I'm gonna hit you with RKO. You're a good man, but I'm gonna defend this title, and then move forward with. All right, so we shall see.
I
Anything
think
else?
if I had something else to address, um, no, I think that was it. I think that was it.
All right, WWE 2K26 comes out. Let me switch over things. WWE 2K26 comes out tonight. I got a physical copy and I'm also a working man, so I will be picking it up in the middle of the day tomorrow on my lunch, and I will be playing tomorrow nights for a little bit, and I'll probably stream it throughout the weekend. So we will be there. It'll be fun. Um what is your opinion on it so far? Because you got the edition early. So you got to play
I
it this
did.
weekend a little bit.
I did. It's been pretty fun. I'm very annoyed with myself because I have a very structured way of playing these games that probably isn't very efficient to me, and probably the reason why I haven't played it in like 4 days. But I like going through each mode individually and like going through the mode completely before I move on to a next mode. So I've only been doing the showcase so far. And I'm frustrated because Brock Lesnar's kicking my ass.
Didn't see clip. Was it a
Um,
match?
yeah, their SummerSlam 2013 match I'm like stuck on right now because Brock Lesnar is annoying. It's to the point where like normally I do it on the hardest difficulty. I had to lower the difficulty and he's still kicking my ass.
Oh my god.
Um, so um, but in terms of the gameplay, it's very fun. Honestly, ragdoll physics was the missing piece
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
because
videos online. It's funny.
yeah, I did.
Oh, he froze. Give him a minute, guys.
I
He's
look
back.
frozen. Unfreeze me.
He's back.
Unfreeze me.
He's back. He's back.
Okay. I think I'm back. I
Yeah.
think I'm back. Yes.
Oh, and he froze again.
I miss him.
He's
Oh
back.
my god.
He's back. Don't worry.
Where am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're saying ragdoll physics?
Okay. Hold on. Let me do a movement test. Oh my gosh. I'm so okay. Okay. I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Okay.
Ragdoll fixes are great. The first mode I did or the first thing I did when I got the game was I did an exhibition match. I did a 3 stages of hell match between Roman and The Rock.
Okay.
I was The Rock. And
Oh no, he's freezing again. He's back.
I need to get a PC.
They really don't want you to explain this game, eh?
They don't. The game is fine. Pick it up, guys.
We'll see it tomorrow. I guess till then, we'll wrap this up here. If you guys missed anything, the replays will be here on YouTube. I've been posting our approved and unapproved ratings for the WWE 2K26 series. We did just like a mixture, and we posted it on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We posted another one today. If you guys want to go check that out, command socials in the chat. Besides that, yeah, we will be back this weekend to be streaming some WWE. I'll probably hit you up, Derek, and see if you want to join. Maybe get Seba on here too. Maybe I'll try the showcase and we'll see how WWE 2K26 is. We'll definitely be playing it more next week and in general because I'm going to get PS Plus and we can all have fun together. Maybe we'll start Geo mode. We shall see. And I'm not saying that because, you know, Elena's working the weekends, I think, for the next couple weekends, but
Of course.
but because of course I need to show the fans of EMFC, we gotta show Derek and all the fans of WWE that we gotta play these games, we gotta run it, you know, we gotta stream. I've been streaming Pocopia the last couple of days, and it's a fun, chill game, bro. So we're back to gaming, we're back to streaming, we will be there. But till then, Eric of EMFC.
This is Derek at the MSC.
See you guys next time. Peace.